Insane moments on Judge Mathis.
Here go your mail.
There's your mail you have going to my
daughter's
house.
house.
You took my daughter's money from her and you lied about it. You took my daughter's money and you get a life.
I was locked up in jail in May for
What you
about 2
locked up
weeks.
for? And where were the kids? What?
My daughter was living with me at the time, and the reason I was locked up is because my ex abused me physically and mentally, and he fraudulently wrote a check out in my name.
Christina and Veronica appear in court because Christina is suing Veronica for stealing their grandmother's belongings and causing Christina significant distress. She has leveled false allegations against Christina, causing her to spend time in jail, which led her to miss college classes and fail her semester. She says Veronica does this due to her heroin addiction.
Veronica started stealing all my grandmother's jewelry, pawning it to feed her addiction habit.
How do you know?
One of the rings that she reported on the false charges that she pressed on me was on that police report. I had custody of Veronica's daughter at the time that she lost due to her heroin addiction.
Christina says all of this happened when her grandmother had a stroke and got very sick. Veronica was staying with their grandmother at the time and would routinely steal her belongings to feed her heroin habit. She says on the night of her grandmother's funeral, Veronica stole clothes, jewelry, china utensils, and birthday presents.
The next day at my grandmother's funeral, Veronica came in. Nobody wanted her there because what she'd done the night before. Veronica caused a big scene in the funeral home, grabbed my grandmother's casket to the point it was shaking, and the funeral directors called the police and had her removed from my grandmother's funeral and told her she couldn't come back. If she did, she was gonna go to jail.
Christina says everyone in the family was aware of what Veronica had done the night before and did not want her at the funeral. She claims Veronica caused a huge scene and shook their grandmother's casket, which is when the funeral director called the police. Veronica felt it was all Christina's fault and began filing police reports against her.
She went and filed 2 false police reports on me. She said that me and my friend put her in a headlock while I ran through her pockets and stole $73 and some cigarettes.
Are you on heroin too?
No, Your Honor. I've never done drugs.
So why you do it?
I absolutely never put my hands on her. I never touched her.
The first police report claimed Christina broke into her room and stole her addiction medication, whereas the other police officer report claimed that Christina, along with a cousin of hers, attacked Veronica and put her in a headlock. Christina says she wasn't even there at the time and says the claims are fabricated.
After that, when the police came, Veronica told them that me and my cousin jumped her. And again, I did not put a hand on her.
Why she keep blaming you?
Because she thinks she's blaming me for being kicked out of my grandmother's funeral. She says it's my fault that she was kicked out of the funeral home.
Were other people arguing and fussing?
No.
Christina says Veronica blames her for everything that happened at their grandmother's funeral and keeps making police reports, hoping she will get arrested at some point. Judge Mathis says he tells his own family that funerals bring a lot of tension and loss to the family, which is why everyone should stay calm to avoid situations like these.
I found out I had a warrant.
There you go.
Yep.
See there?
And I turned myself in on August 8th.
And let me hear her side.
Me and Christina, we were very close at one point. And where our relationship started going sour, her daughter had stayed with me.
You like that heroin?
I mean, I am a recovering heroin addict,
Good.
yes.
You said it the right way.
Christina says the reason she's suing is because she had to miss several of her college classes. After all, Veronica wouldn't show up to court and Christina would have to go again and again. This caused her to fail her classes. Veronica says she did not even know the case was being pursued at all.
You described it, but you never followed up in court. This woman went 10 times.
Yes.
Prove that it happened.
Yes, I did not go to court.
You can't prove that it happened?
Neither can she.
Her claim is that you made the allegation and that you never followed up. After having her jailed, she did prove it.
Christina then says she has even more proof against Veronica. She plays an audio recording for the court in which one can hear Veronica say that Christina did chase her down the street, but that the rest of the allegations are completely fabricated. So, who will Judge Mathis rule in favor of?
You said I did fabricate the story. You ripping off your own grandmama to get high. Get out of here. Your claim is dismissed. Yours is granted. Have a good day.
Karma's isn't it, Veronica? You send me to jail, get me kicked out of school. How's it feel?
You jumped me 3 times. I might be a heroin addict, but you're the one that's in the wrong.
Best friend's betrayal. This case begins when the plaintiff wanted to sue the defendant Maria for several reasons. Even though Shaquita claimed to have changed Maria's life by turning an escort into a successful businesswoman, the BFF on the other side begged to differ.
She's sneaky, she's on the sly, she used to smoke weed and party on Saturday and then go to church in the morning, bright and early to serve the Lord. Right.
If you're doing something illegal.
Yeah, if you feel so
if
guilty
you're doing
about
something
it
illegal or immoral, you're supposed to go to church the next day.
After this judge implores how the whole thing is, sticking through thick and thin started in the Forest Palace. Turns out that both chicks met back in May in 2010 and soon hit it off. And Maria told her stories about how she was kicked out of her home when she was 15, got into escorting, and then started dating a guy who was involved in drug dealing.
He ended up dealing with cocaine. Then she ended up meeting someone that she ended up marrying. He got murdered, Your Honor. He got murdered due to drug issues.
All right, why don't you allow her to tell her story? I thought you were going to tell me something about you.
Right.
You have interest in anything about you colorful?
No.
Right,
I'm just giving you
Let me get to the colorful
about
life.
her is colorful.
Yeah.
But this was all one-sided, which called for the defendant's turn, who calmed that Shaquita was quite a sneaky person herself, as she parties hard on Saturdays and then goes to church on Sunday mornings. Quite a revelation, ain't it?
Do you go to church?
I do.
Good.
I actually got her to start going to church with me, Your Honor, because she wanted to change her life.
Good.
I wanted to change my life.
She started going to church
Where
with
do
me.
you all go?
Destiny World Church. It's in Atlanta, Georgia.
Pastor Purvis.
Pastor Purvis.
All right, let's see how y'all make Pastor look today.
Anyhow, the trouble in paradise kicked in when Maria asked Shaquita for money to borrow. She says she transferred different amounts to Maria several times. She even shows Judge Mathis the transaction history from her account. The last time Maria asked her for $1,000 that she still hasn't paid back.
She was about to get evicted. She needed $1,000 to keep her from getting evicted. I transferred the money. She accepted it the next day. She told me that she had to do her tax return manually, so we agreed that she'd give it back to me then. If not, she was supposed to give it back to me before school started back, because I told her I needed it for
When
my
you
kids.
spoke to her about it, what has she said since August 1st?
She said she doesn't owe me anything.
Up next, Shaquita's mom takes the stand next and says she raised her daughter in a Christian home, which is why her daughter always helped Maria in any way she could, especially by helping her pay her loans.
What type of job do you have?
I work with elders. I'm a personal care
You
tech.
make over $50,000 a year?
No.
Okay. And yeah, it doesn't sound like you would be gifting thousands of dollars at a time.
No, I only did it that time, Your Honor, because I had just got my tax
Gifting?
return.
You
No,
give
not
to
gift,
us?
let her
That's my
borrow.
point. That's my
Yeah.
point. Yeah, it doesn't sound reasonable.
Maria says she's suing for defamation because Shaquita tried to ruin her business by posting false negative reviews online, which resulted in her losing potential clients. Well, both parties were pulling the same sort of punches at each other. Let's see how this gets concluded.
Bad businesswoman, several other things, and you put it on your mother, but you had knowledge. It was your phone. Judgment for the plaintiff and the defendant, you're left with $500. Have a good day.
Thank you. Here go your mail.
There's your mail you have
Coming
going
to
to
my daughter's house.
Sylvia brings her daughter Angela to court because she believes Angela needs help. She testified that her daughter began smoking marijuana at the age of 13 and progressed to harder drugs from there. Recently, she overdosed on heroin 3 times in the same week and was pronounced clinically dead.
She was clinically dead for 10 minutes. They said her lips was turning blue. They gave her 3 shots of Narcan and 2 shots of epinephrine to the heart, and they finally brought her back. And she admitted to me that she's done other things in the past to get her drugs that she's ashamed of. I got custody of my 4- and 5-year-old grandchildren, her kids.
Angela talked about the most recent time she overdosed, when some guy she barely knew offered her some drugs and she took them. The drugs also had fentanyl in them, and the guy left her there after she overdosed. The guy's brother discovered her there and called for help, which is how she's alive today.
It was a terrible feeling waking up in the hospital after I overdosed and being there alone and thinking about, my kids if I was to die. My mom having to explain to my 4- and 5-year-old that mommy's not coming back.
And
I've been clean ever
going
since.
through any withdrawals?
Yeah, badly. But it's worth it. I want my kids back. I'm tired of this life.
Defendant felt terrible to wake up in the hospital and realize that she may have died, and her mother would have had to tell her kids that their mother is not around anymore. She says that she is currently going through withdrawal and feels terrible, but wants to quit this habit once and for all.
Hopefully you will allow us to support you by placing you in rehab. Are you going to allow us to do that here at the show?
Yes, sir.
All right, and let me tell you what the first thing they're going to tell you there. First thing they're going to tell you is the number one sign that you're really interested in recovering is truth.
Judge Mathis believed that the first step to recovery is truthfulness, and asked Sylvia why she was suing Angela. The grandmother confessed that she was in jail for a little while earlier in the year because her abusive ex wrote a fraudulent check in her name, and she went to jail for not making the last payment on that check.
I told my daughter to give me my card, and she did. And she said she bought some groceries and diapers for the kids for the house and stuff while I was gone. I ended up finding out that there was $866 missing on it, and I didn't see any evidence of.
When you spoke with her about it, what did she say?
She didn't admit to me about using the money for the drugs or anything. She claimed she bought food for the house.
Sylvia says she gave her card to Angela to cover their expenses while she was locked up. She says Sylvia claims to have used that money for diapers, groceries, and food, but there are over $800 unaccounted for. Judge Mathis says Sylvia must be shopping at the wrong store for diapers to cost so much.
I did use some of that for drugs.
There you go. Now you're ready to recover. There you go. All right, $866. I'm happy that you brought her here. I applaud you for admitting that you need it and admitting that you'll go. So, all right, good luck to you. Have a good day.
High school love has gone sour over drug addiction, money theft, and breach of contract. Myra here had graduated while he dropped out, and they began dating soon after. He got addicted to drugs, which destroyed their relationship.
Well, he wasn't doing drugs, but then he started to do more cocaine, so he liked it, so he started getting higher.
So the first time you do it is the experiment?
Right.
Okay. All right, and had things gone bad,
Right.
he wouldn't do it anymore. That's what they mean by experiment.
Yes.
Okay.
Even Plaintiff's parents knew what a big crackhead the ex-boyfriends were, but Myra felt like Kyle deserved another chance, and she wanted to be the one to help him. Judge Mathis remarks that it must have gone all wrong when the money went missing.
I love Myra very much. My drug addiction tore our relationship apart, in ways I never thought it would happen.
How many times you go to rehab?
I've never been to rehab, Your Honor.
Why?
But I don't have insurance. I'm not.
I heard you say that, but that's why they have nonprofits who provide rehab without any insurance. You ever heard of that?
No, sir.
Okay, you still a dope fiend.
Defendant assured his girlfriend that he'd stopped using drugs at the start of their relationship. However, he was still hooked on drugs. Myra was devastated when he stole $1,000 from her college fund to fund his habit.
And I thought things would get better, but unfortunately they didn't. He would come home drunk or on drugs and start destroying property. He would break the walls. We had complaints from our neighbors. Police were called 3 times, and after the 3rd time, we got kicked out of our house. After we got kicked out, I told him our relationship is over, it's not working.
Kyle takes the stand next and says he loves Myra very much and understands that his drug habit tore their relationship apart. Judge Mathis asks him if he's ever been to rehab, and he says no. He says he didn't have insurance and couldn't afford rehab.
You're still a crackhead.
Oh.
Yes, you are. Come here running that simple game. That's why you want to grin now. I'm not her. I'm not a sucker.
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Yeah, I know a crackhead when I see him because they give me crackhead answers. Talking about they never heard of nonprofits. Are you done with this crackhead yet?
Yes.
Myra says she's suing for breach of contract because when Kyle and Myra moved into a new apartment, he wanted to get it furnished and wanted to make the payments himself. She says she co-signed the loan, but so far, he has not made any payments at all. So who is Judge Mathis going to side with?
All right, where's the furniture, sir?
No, it's my
You
storage.
sold it and smoked it? You sell it for crack?
It's my storage.
Where is it?
my storage unit.
All right, it's $2,715. You get the money, he keeps the furniture. Good luck to you. Let us know if you want some treatment, sir. Otherwise, take a hike. Judgment for the plaintiff.
Thank you.